everybody, and welcome to Swirlpool. This is the new, hot, spicy new podcast from the Vortex. This week we're covering the sports entertainment juggernaut, the Titanic, way too long, WrestleMania 35. I'm here with the Vortex crew.
I'm Grim Chorizo, and pineapple goes on pizza, bitches. Fight me.
Woo! I agree with you, to be fair.
Thank you.
No words. Fiend here. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Samuel Adams Summer Ale.
It's true.
It's pretty fucking good. It's lemony,
it's
citrusy,
tasty.
it's bright. Oh, hold on. Listen to this.
Oh, yeah.
That was gross.
I'm so sorry. And I'm Chris, aka Zompire Wolf, and I just ate a whole pizza by myself, so I feel like shit.
No shame, man.
Nice.
No, it's bad. Like, I feel...
A little bit of shame.
I almost feel like I just watched 7 to 8 hours of wrestling, and now my...
Well, did you?
You watched a lot more.
I gotta be honest with you guys, I fucking hate pro wrestling now, because I love it so much, but it's like, hey, here's a chocolate cake,
Sure,
and then you eat that chocolate cake. Right. And then they're like, eat this other chocolate cake.
Right
and
after.
you're like, oh shit, okay.
Like, oh my god.
And then you keep eating, so you ate 4 chocolate cakes, and now when you look at chocolate cake, it kind of makes you, you feel a little queasy. Right. That's how I felt rewatching parts of Mania 35.
Oh man.
So I guess I should explain a little, we'll explain the show a bit. The whole point of the Vortex is we like a lot of shit, right? And we like a whole lot of different forms of entertainment, media, all sorts of things. So what we want to do is we're going to have guests on. We're going to be bringing topics to bring to each other for us to watch, listen to, experience, and then we discuss it together as a group. So this week we were going to cover wrestling because all 3 of us, we love wrestling. Yeah. And this was a fantastic wrestling pay-per-view, if you will. But
it's the grandest stage of them all. It's the biggest wrestling event there is. It just happened. It seemed fitting for us to kind of just dive into for our...
And we wanted to cover it shortly after, but I personally am so burnt out on wrestling. So this is going to be like very cathartic for me. Right. But this won't always be about pro wrestling. This is just one facet of the things that we cover. So maybe we'll cover some albums or some movies or whatever. But before we get into the main event, if you will... I'd like to... Nice. Did any of you guys watch anything new? Or it doesn't have to be new. Just something cool.
Experience something.
Yeah, like, did you consume?
Not wrestling related.
What have I consumed? Well, I consumed a pizza, but...
right. Not wrestling related.
No, let's keep it free of wrestling because we're going to go balls deep.
So, yeah, okay. Last week, so, long story short, we got a new TV, which is exciting.
Congratulations.
So, just upgraded. And so, because of that, I was like, I feel like I want to watch something on Hulu. I wanted to watch something new. And my dad actually suggested this show called Letterkenny, and it's like a Canadian comedy, and it's really, really
always
funny.
Seem to be Canadian.
I'm in like the 3rd season, and I've never watched Trailer Park Boys, but it's kind of what I might imagine. Like this is kind of like, because basically it's like there's some hicks, and there's like druggies, and there's hockey players, and they're like the main
white Canadian trash.
Yeah, but it's in like this small town Canadian town, and like it's very, very, it's like a show that's very dialogue driven. It's like the things that they're doing character obviously are funny, but it's one of those you have to listen to everything they're saying because every line is just hilarious. Like I'm trying to think of a show to describe
like
it to,
Fargo
but I don't.
Or something.
I haven't seen that.
That's
but
another very
it's just
Canadian.
very, very funny the way they talk and like
it's very dense with like comedy and humor. Like, like everything is just like a joke. Huh. Well,
I would say it's not like over the top by what they're doing necessarily, but the things they're saying are
the humor
hilarious,
comes from the...
So I'm really enjoying that. So, if you're interested in a new show to watch, comedy, check out Letterkenny.
Nice.
It's on Hulu.
Nice. That sounds really interesting.
I think you guys would both like it, honestly.
I'll probably like it.
I'll check it out in a million years because I have a Netflix list.
Yeah, I mean, I still have I'm only on season 3, but it's enjoyable.
But no, I don't know. I went and played some board games with some friends, and I tried a new game out. It was called Letters from Whitechapel or something like that.
Letters from Whitechapel, okay.
And it was really interesting. Like it was kind of like you played as like the investigators hunting down Jack the Ripper in the night.
Okay, I'm sold.
And somebody plays as Jack the Ripper, and they make a murder at the beginning of the night, and like the night starts, and he's trying to run away from the murder scene, and you're trying to find him.
So it's like everyone against one, basically. Like someone is Jack the Ripper, and they're on the run.
And like you can trap him, like you can move so many spaces, but then you can investigate around you, and then like if he went there. He might be there, but you can. So as an investigator, you can make an investigation check or an arrest check.
This reminds me a lot.
But you can kind of strategically trap him on the map,
so he can't keep running.
Right, and the map actually is like a picture of old school London.
This sounds cool.
Old school London.
There's another board game that this sounds like where you're chasing like Dracula.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
It's kind of like Van Helsing. You're all vampire hunters. So I wonder if it's like the same thing, kind of like where there's different
variations based.
Well, what's it called? The Ticket to Ride, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
That sounds badass. This is my problem with board games is like I have a sad pillar, a shrine of board games I have that I love and I want to play, but like just don't have enough night. That sounds fucking awesome.
That does sound fun.
It was really interesting.
We should pick that up.
I really like that one. So, I mean, and then we played...
So Letters from White Castle, okay.
Yeah.
Or Chapel.
White Castle.
White Castle, that's the
Letters from White Castle.
I think it was Whitechapel, yeah.
Help, I shit myself. That's what the letter would say.
Oh, shit.
And I honestly, my brain is completely fried. I have not really consumed anything new. I've been
besides a pizza.
Well, I was gonna say
a lot of wrestling.
Here's my thing: Amy's frozen pizza margarita.
Amy's?
It's a brand.
Don't know if
it's fucking delicious. The crust
margarita pizza.
It's a margarita pizza. It's so much better. It's a little expensive. It's like $5 for pizza, and but it's like. Fucking delicious. The crust is chewy but also crispy if you cook it right on the thing.
Crust or thick crust or like a rising crust?
It's thinkish. It's somewhere in between because
crust.
It's very crispy on the bottom.
Toss crust, if you will.
Crisp. Yeah, I don't know what I would describe it as, but it has like a bit of like it rises a bit and it's covered in base. Oh, it's so fucking good. It's like premium posh pizza. So that's all good. I've got for you. But just talking about it is kind of making me feel. I am so fucking full. Anyway, we better get into this fucking show. So
we got a lot to...
WrestleMania 35. Let's start out by, I think we should kind of talk about how we each got into wrestling very briefly.
Yeah, okay. So I'll start
Grim is
because
he's the most consistent.
I would say... So I could talk a lot here, but I got into wrestling, I guess... 2006 is when I became an actual wrestling fan. 2005, my friends would watch it. On Friday nights, there'd be SmackDown. We'd be hanging out over there anyways, and SmackDown would be on, and I was like, this is cool.
So who was on SmackDown at that
Eddie
time?
Guerrero, Rey Mysterio were having their Dominic storyline while this was going on. I remember that. Batista, Bobby Lashley just debuted, Mr. Kennedy.
It's hard not to get into that.
These are the guys I remember. And then... So I thought that was cool, but I would never put it on at my own house because I was like, I don't know.
It's something you can have on in the background. Then the next year,
actually the day after WrestleMania 22, it was Monday Night Raw, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this on. And I was talking to my friends on the phone, and we were watching it, like, basically on the phone while watching.
It's like a live thread.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
And literally that night, I just was hooked. I remember specifically Big Show and Kane lost the World Tag Team titles to the Spirit Squad, a group of cheerleaders.
Oh, fuck.
Triple H, John Cena, and Edge started like this triple threat rivalry over the WWE title. Kane attacked Big Show over some May 19th stuff. That was like what was going on.
Okay.
But I got hooked from that night big time. And I went super nerded out, was really, really like... really big into it until about 2000, maybe late 2008, and I just got too busy that I just didn't watch, and it wasn't really the coolest thing. I don't know, you know what I mean?
And also wasn't that around the time it was starting to get out of the ruthless aggression and starting to move towards
they went PG, and already I was kind of like, eh. And, honestly, the biggest thing was just busy being really involved with, like, musical stuff at school. There was always, like, different games I just couldn't keep up with it. And if you can't keep up with it,
Otherwise, you would have sat through, like, all the John Cena.
So then came back in early 2012 and decided, you know what, I'm going to watch it again. And it was like I never left. It was like you put it on and you just fell right back in love with it. And since then, since 2012, I basically watched almost like
the gentle
every
caress
week,
of an old lover.
Huge fan since. So yeah, I've been a fan for a while. But
you have a more intense sort of.
Yeah, so 2005, 2006 is when I really started.
And then you took a break from
about
probably around the best
2012.
Time.
Yeah,
it sounds like
host. Like
people talk about 2009 being
super Cena era was
the dearth of WWE.
Yeah. And I've gone back and kind of not everything, but kind of know I missed some good stuff. But overall, that wasn't a great.
I watched leading up to Mania 35. I watched some old Manias, and holy shit, what was 27? What year was that?
That was 2011, which I actually went.
Bad.
Me and a few friends we went through and made it a summer goal to watch every WrestleMania, and 27 is one of the
literally
worst. I mean,
the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, let's not get up. That'll be another show, honestly.
Yeah, we'll have to bring that up.
That'll be another show.
But so that's my my journey here. So
I'll jump in next because I think so. Fiend has a little more history in the past than I do, but we both kind of got back. Like he kind of got back into it more around the same time as me, and then I started watching earnestly and actively for the first time. Right. So I had like the easiest and probably the most enjoyable indoctrination, if you will, into pro wrestling because I had always seen it in the background and it never clicked with me. It doesn't help when you're seeing segments that are like just so bad. I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but just like absolute like Brodus Clay dancing and with his mom and stuff. Like that stuff is just not good for getting people into. But I sat down and watched WrestleMania 30 with everybody who was currently watching with Grimm, and it was just like impossible not to be hooked with guys like Daniel Bryan's massive, win, his big victory, and then the Undertaker's streak being broken was just too like it just clicked for me. I'm like, oh, I fucking get it. It's like drama nerds doing athletic ability things. It's just it was too. It just clicked finally, and then from then on, I was like, oh, okay. I get it. Unfortunately, 30 was like the high point, really, for like at least until hot take until now, I would say. So, but yeah, so Fiend, what's your journey?
Can I real quick? Yeah, I have a question regarding that.
Sure.
We're brothers, so obviously you were around me watching wrestling a lot, anyways.
Yeah.
My question is, if you didn't sit in on WrestleMania 30 that day, do you think you would have been hooked? Or would it, know what I mean? Because that was a show that
didn't we also watch
WrestleMania 30 was, I don't know, it was awesome. I mean,
it was amazing show.
That's the thing.
I wasn't there for most of it. I think I left, or I showed up late, I think.
You showed up and you
were there for a little
while.
bit.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit, and I was like, man, that was kind of cool.
Once shit started getting hot.
And I was like, I was leaving right at a good time, too. Yeah. So, like, that's about probably when I started getting back into it. But, like, I mean, as a kid growing up, I always watched it kind of on TV. I never really watched the pay-per-views because I'd never ordered them.
You got to pay money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. and it's expensive as fuck back then.
But I watched them. I watched, like, Monday Night Raw and, like, stuff. But I watched, like, a lot of WCW, so I got to watch a lot of, like...
The height of the NWO.
Peak era.
NWO and shit. And then Goldberg coming in and wrecking and, like...
Yeah, like, it was...
Sting.
Even as someone who grew up...
For, like, changing through, and becoming a badass. And,
growing up in grade school in the 90s, like, you just saw every kid had, like, Austin shirts, DX shirts, all that stuff.
Had Austin shirt, like,
my first
was the man, like, what?
Yeah, my first, like, playground fight, if you will, I just got my ass... like handed to me by a kid in a DX shirt who then suck it. Yeah, but that was like my first. I didn't have any fucking clue.
But like, I mean, as you said, growing up, you get busy doing things.
Exactly.
Watch it. But then like as Chris said, we came over for WrestleMania 30 and
it kind of hooks you.
It was like, man, that's kind of cool. Still, like, what? Right. We do some flippy stuff and
the spectacle is. That's the thing, though. Like you were saying. I don't know if I would have been hooked, but then at the same time, NXT was started.
Well, that was the. I think that's the main. I think that's more of an important thing is NXT.
Yeah,
is because
the arrival.
I think that's what really got me into it because a lot of those guys
moved
up when I started watching NXT when it came to the network, and I was like. Man, or when we all started watching it, and you're like, "Hey, we need to watch NXT.
Yeah,
this is really
NXT
cool.
is fucking rad."
Okay, and then I was like, "Whoa, all these guys are awesome!" And then they all move up, and I kind of like it. Just moved along with that because those guys are awesome. So I kind of like wanted to watch them on the main roster, like. And that was WrestleMania 30 was kind of a start of that, I think.
It's that investment in people,
so, yeah.
But yeah, so with 35, okay, so I think that 30 is important, and that's why I kept kind of talking about it, was that there's kind of this weird, with a lot of the stories and a lot of references, it kind of goes full circle from 30, like, so it's kind of cool that my whole viewing experience has been encapsulated from 30 to 35, but maybe we should just jump in with, like, Mania 35. What'd you guys think? Like, overall.
I really enjoyed it. It was awesome.
Right,
it was long.
as fuck.
Get Out, though.
That's what I was gonna say. Woo! It burnt me out completely.
Yeah. I mean, I had to like take breaks. There was, first of all, we all watched this together.
Yes.
We had a party.
Yeah.
And I burned myself out on tacos.
And
nachos.
Oh god,
and that taco dip.
It makes you sleepy.
And like those cinnamon rolls and those cheesecake. I was I was just so full.
That's how I feel right now.
Uncomfortable, and I was like, oh man. But so it was really. I was just trying to like watch.
Trying to stay in
because I was like, I just kept getting up and eating food. I was just like, oh my god, I felt terrible later.
Right. That's the thing was like, for me, I actually managed to stay mostly engaged. But this is my big praise for the show, even though it was ungodly long, was that it's probably, of all the WrestleManias I've watched, easily the best paced.
Oh, agreed.
Sure. Like, they paced all the big matches out.
Yeah, it still kept me interested. And that's what, like, I don't know, that's what made it not as bad, but, like, it did drag.
Well, imagine if all the big matches had been at the end, right? Shit. So the good thing was, like, they started off
they fucking busted out with, like...
Yeah.
Here comes Heyman, and it's like, hold up.
Right,
it's like, screw this intro. We're gonna freaking do our match.
That was exciting.
You knew it was gonna be like a crazy night, you know.
Yeah.
I'd say overall though, this was one of my right after watching it, I was willing to say like this might be my favorite WrestleMania of all time.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, I will say this:
sure.
I've watched quite a few live, and this was the most fun live one. Watching live, the most fun I had watching one.
Agreed,
sure.
I agree.
The second one would have been 31 when Seth cashed in. As far as fun experience to watch, because not saying it's the best show, but fun to watch. But rewatching it back, honestly, I think I'd have to let it stew. Maybe later in the year, I could actually say where it sits. But it's got to be in my top 3. Like this was a great WrestleMania. It was really long, but like you said, the pacing was really, really good. Because if the pacing wasn't good, the length would have killed it.
Man.
But
it would have felt even longer.
It felt long,
it was
already.
A great
but
show.
I think the reason for that was because they fucking booked like the people who should have won.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was logical. There was only maybe 1 or 2 downer spots. But I guess maybe since we have our general thoughts.
Well, I mean, I already brought up how they busted in. So I figured maybe we could talk about like...
We got to talk about the pre-show first. That's the problem. There's like 2 hours
let's just kind of go piece by piece.
What did you think, first of all, of the stage and the lighting and stuff? Because
it was cool. It was simple.
And
I liked it. It wasn't too much. I feel like sometimes that's the problem.
Too much shit going on,
just too much stuff going on.
It was simple, but they used it like...
And the holograms were cool.
That's what I was going to say was I normally cringe at those 3D effects and shit, like where it's like, this is a reboot era, like, 90s ass fucking like PS1 graphics. They actually looked pretty good this time. Yeah. And I will say, like, I was pretty happy with how everyone's entrances looked. It was very cool. I liked that it was outdoor and you could see like sort of like as it got darker, the lights started coming. Of course, it ruined a bunch of fans in the audiences. Like, apparently there were tons of bright lights shining in people's eyes and shit.
Yeah.
I was just curious what you thought.
Well, the set... So the thing is, I think people sometimes expect...
grandeur.
Too much. I mean, it is WrestleMania. It should be amazing. And I thought it was a different type of amazing. Yeah, it was simple, but... Sometimes a big ass screen is badass.
Right. I mean, it was. That's what was awesome.
With it.
So I
you just don't want it to feel like a Raw plus,
I thought it grew on me. At first, I won't lie. When I first saw, I saw a picture of it.
They didn't
do
pyro, but
just the smoke effects.
Yeah, they did.
They had some legit pyro. Actually,
they had pyro. But when I first saw a picture of it, I was like, okay,
it's a screen. It's a big TV.
Then when I saw it in action, I was like, okay. Certain entrances, and as we kind of go through the matches, certain entrances looked like amazing.
Without jumping ahead, I gotta say what sold me was, I don't want to skip the pre-show or whatever, but just Seth Rollins coming out and the sword stabbing into the side,
that was badass.
That was awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah. One thing I think, since we're just talking overall here about entrances, nothing in particular, but I think if they did have a few more kind of special entrances, I think it would have added a little bit.
Spice it up a bit.
Like, that was just one complaint I had was, there were some cool entrances for sure, but I think that
they kind of limited it to like one person every 3 matches got a special entrance. Yeah. Whereas basically in the past, like a lot of I noticed, well, let's just jump right into the pre-show.
Yeah, let's just run it down.
What was the first pre-show match? It was the cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight title opened up the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think I missed that match actually completely.
Well, we'll talk about it a bit. The thing with the cruiserweight stuff is I don't think any of us out of the three of us follow the cruiserweight stuff.
Because is it still only on the network?
It's on the network on Tuesday nights, I believe, but I haven't watched an episode of 205 Live in a long time.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to say this is a clear case of a thing with wrestling where match quality, the quality of the wrestlers and how talented they are is through the fucking roof.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't give a fuck because I just don't know. Like you were talking about NXT Fiend earlier and how those personalities and those characters, you just latch onto them and you're invested in them.
Right.
That's what's missing for me with 205 Live. Even if I watched it, it's just a sport. It's just them wrestling each other.
Yeah.
Really well. It's very exciting. I saw stuff in that Cruiserweight match that reminded me of the Cruiserweight Classic that blew me away, but I don't care about Tony Nese and I don't really care about Buddy Murphy either.
Right.
So that's my problem, and it's kind of on me, I guess, for not really following them.
Well, I'm in agreement with that. The match, because when it was happening at first, it was like 4:30.
Right.
I had just gotten off work just a little bit ago, and we were
food.
setting up for the party, so it kind of was on, and I would kind of see a few things here and there, but I did rewatch it, and one of the first things I noticed, obviously, is because people are still pouring into the arena.
Right.
The crowd reaction is pretty poor, which is sad to see, but it's also people are still coming in, probably not really watching, and like you said...
You know what it reminded me of? Kalisto and Ryback.
Oh,
great match, but people don't give a fuck. You know,
yeah, but so that was one of the first things. There were like a few main, as far as like spots in the match that really stood out to me is Murphy did like a gut buster, where you drop him over and land on your knee. He did that, but on the turnbuckle, which is
I remember
pretty
that.
nasty.
I had never seen that before.
That was nasty.
Literally ever.
And then another cool spot from Tony Nese, which I thought was pretty sweet, was Murphy was like hung up in the ropes, kind of like how Orton does his draping DDT, but he was facing the other way, and then Tony Nese did a moonsault onto him like that, which was pretty badass.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. It's like the cruiserweights are really good about innovating things, which is kind of
like this was one of the best matches of the night. It's just the whole thing of
it's just that pre-show thing where it's like it's hard to like I was making food, so
yeah. No, Buddy Murphy did get busted open
I did notice that. Yeah,
I didn't catch what did.
Blood always makes wrestling better. Yeah. I don't know you don't want people to get hurt, but it always just adds like some drama to the match. And I don't know like eyes, cheekbones, lips, like your mouth. That always seems to get busted open, and it's like when it happens, you're like that sucks, but you're also kind of like
adds something.
Yeah,
you're badass.
The physicality.
Exactly, it makes them look badass, and it shows like how hard they're like kicking ass in there. You know? So.
And Aiden English on commentary, this was the first time I've heard him commentate, and I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, other than sounding like Kermit the Frog.
That's true, he does sound like Kermit the Frog.
He's so... he is
I never thought about that. Oh my god!
I just feel bad for the dude, because I loved his wrestling and his character, and it just...
I hope he's not done
wrestling. This is the problem with WWE, but no, it was good. But we also had a women's battle royal.
Didn't like this one bit, really.
Oh, yeah.
What's there to like? Here's my thing.
It was kind of...
Yeah, I mean, that sums it up, and it's probably like the best. They come in
I forgot, who was in the ring in the end when Carmella, like, snuck in?
It was so... Yeah, let's go through it step by step, because that was my big problem with it, is if someone else had won, it might be...
I always hate that.
So, when, as far as I noticed, there were Candice LeRae and Kairi Sane from NXT were in. Cool, right? But the only people... I'm just saying, I did notice they were kind of the surprises or whatever. Right. My thing is, it's cool that you give some people entrances, but you have all of them come out, then you have Naomi and then Asuka get an entrance. Doesn't it feel a little weird when only
That's because those are the only two women other than maybe Mandy and Sonya who all year have even like had anything of a push, and it's also because Asuka and Naomi were kind of like friends too.
Yeah.
I was going to say my favorite thing about this match was just seeing all their gear because they could do cool things, you know. It's not really fair to them to... And this also brings me back to my one booking complaint, if we aren't going to talk about one other thing we'll get to eventually. My one fucking booking complaint is that they ruined Asuka's chance for not even a singles match, but just a match on the main card, like holding the title, the SmackDown title.
No kidding.
She was thrown in.
She just lost to Charlotte and...
Exactly. Asuka was the sacrificial lamb for the main event, women's main event. Yeah. And I just feel like it's really... shitty, and it stood out like a sore thumb to me.
Oh yeah,
it was like she's not in the right spot.
Asuka in that match
she worked her ass
did not feel like she was just the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Oh god, no,
at all. And
She fucking lost.
thing is, I didn't even realize it until the commentary said her name. Ember Moon returned in this match with no fanfare, just a complete unceremonious return. Yeah. That could have been a big moment.
They're doing my girl Ember real dirty.
Why even put her in? Why even bring her back in that match if she's not going to win or do anything? You know,
she should have fucking won. Really, that's a way to bring someone back. It's kind of like when you want to just you don't talk about her because then when she wins, it's exciting.
Yeah,
but they didn't do that.
I feel like they lose pretty quick too.
Yeah,
she didn't really do much of anything.
She did jack shit.
The crowd was hot for Dana Brooke, though. They were.
Hell yeah.
She was the most over in that match. I honestly think she got quite a few eliminations.
There were
she got a few eliminations. The crowd was behind her, and then it came down to
she's awesome. I think she has tons of potential. It's just a matter of what they do with her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it came down to Asuka, Sonya Deville, and Sarah Logan, and then Carmella was on the outside. It looked like Sarah Logan won, which was kind of neat because it's like, kind of a surprise here. Then Carmella comes in and wins. And someone pointed out...
They did it 2 years in a row!
They did the same finish 2 years in a row! What the hell?
Wait, it was the same finish?
It was the same fucking thing. And it's a heelish thing to do.
Someone wasn't eliminated and they come in and win. It's just...
For anyone who doesn't follow wrestling,
I hate that shit.
When a bad guy...
It bothers... It's like... Oh my God, it's like... Come on.
And Carmella's a face!
That's what we're saying.
Eliminating...
When you... coming in and stealing the victory at the end is not a very good guy thing to do. It's quite a shitty bait.
Well, maybe she's gonna turn. I don't know.
But she already was that.
Easily least favorite match of the night.
Yeah,
I could have done without this at all, and it's nothing against the competitors. It just was pointless.
I would have been like, what?
Literally, here's my thing. Literally anyone but Carmella would have been fine. Moving on, we had the Revival.
Yeah, Raw Tag Team titles
versus Jobber Boys.
Yeah. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder.
I hate that. I wish I was more hyped. I wish I was on the main card.
You were actually... Well, that's the thing. Like, some people actually...
just the titles
because it's the titles, right? Like, that's the problem is the titles have been kind of treated like dog shit. So, and the Revival are probably top 3, tag teams, like, as far as talent and skill goes,
I thought the match would have been cool. Like...
It was good.
It was a good match. It got time, which was cool, but... If they gave this some damn build, it could have been a lot better.
It was thrown together right at the last second.
Was announced.
Wasn't it like announced 2 weeks ago?
No, it was announced days before the event. It's like, how about on Raw?
Together,
why didn't you just even have a segment where they challenge them?
Before or like the week of.
They announced it that week. Just have even a segment where Hawkins and Ryder just go up and they're like, we want to challenge you, and Revival laugh it off. Like, obviously we're going to beat you because you're on a losing streak, and they accept. That would have at least had some form of build.
This felt like the Zack Ryder thing with the IC title all over again. No build,
just kind of
like gonna lose it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, who knows how long?
Did they lose it?
They did not lose it on Raw. So
surprising, actually.
They made it past that. But yeah, it kind of felt
just
Zack
like get the pin this time, or
it was Curtis.
I think Hawkins. Curtis. I think
I'm thinking Curtis Axel.
Yeah. But it was a good match, and the fact that it got time was good. And if it weren't on the pre-show, it probably wouldn't have gotten that time. But I think with a little bit of build, would have been much better.
Right.
But then we had the classic, the now standard Andre Memorial Battle Royal, which has been proven time and time again
to make some real winners.
Yeah.
Those past winners.
If I were told I'm going to win the Andre, I think at this point I'd probably be like, no.
Pick somebody else, please.
Yeah, because, I mean, we had our boy Cesaro.
Although, I mean, for this one, I felt finally he should have won.
I agree.
Right?
Braun winning is the right guy, for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like he should have won it like not the first
2 years ago.
Yeah, whenever he came up,
And also, if that
was the first one, cool. Like
it's a little too late with Braun too, because it's like he should have probably been winning more titles and stuff. This is kind of like a pointless thing, It doesn't. Right. We've been shown that it doesn't really mean a whole lot, but I will say Braun looked fucking shredded as hell. He looked scary.
Yeah. Came out without a shirt, and it was like he just wanted to show off that jacked.
I don't blame him because he cut some weight. But how did you guys feel about the involvement of the weekend update guys? I thought it was fine.
It was.
I just know some people.
I thought it was fine. It was funny, the way they at the end.
Hiding under the ring was a great thing, and they posted a video of them under. Actually, that was really fucking funny.
Was it like a live thing too?
Yeah, so
that's
there's
funny. I didn't see that.
That was really good, and it's hilarious because you can see the ring just like bending, and every time someone does a move, they're just like, oh. oh.
I'll have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, you should. It's totally worth watching. And they literally, there's a part where they're like, how long is this match anyway? Like, are we going to, like, they're kind of like trying to, it's like, when should we get out from under the ring? And these are all things I think about when I watch these matches when someone's under the ring. And they're like, I don't know, maybe when it's quiet, that means there's only one person left, and then we just go in there and eliminate them. Like, it was pretty funny.
So do they have like a thing when to go in, or like?
I don't know how they knew. Like, I don't know how they script that stuff or how they plan it. Right. I just thought it was really funny that they were like making jokes that were like actually legit funny, but didn't necessarily break the kayfabe and immersion.
Right. Yeah.
But it was just really fun. I thought they were very respectful to what pro wrestling is. They were funny. Right. I kind of wish that hadn't been the end of the match. Is my only thing. I thought it would have been better if maybe they got eliminated early.
We're coming in to destroy you, and he just throws them over.
Exactly. Like, if they had come in, like, before... Because I think if you're going to make these matches, these battle royals, the memorial things, feel important, which I think they kind of want them to, maybe you should actually have people that matter at the end. You know, like, we could have had Andrade and an Ali.
Yeah, it could even set up, like... a feud storyline if you wanted to, or a storyline of some sort.
Yeah, but nothing really came out of it. Mentioning those guys... They were involved in some of the...
Oh my God,
in my opinion, the two, besides the finish, two of my most memorable spots. For one, Luke Harper returned in this.
Give us the recap.
So Luke Harper returned in the match. Yeah. Another unceremonious thing.
It was cool, though. He had a moment with Braun.
Where they had a stare down, Luke Harper and Braun, which was awesome.
Wyatt reunion.
So EC3 was eliminated within 30 seconds. What was the point of even calling him up? I don't know. I don't know.
You're asking the wrong people.
Andrade had a badass elimination to Kalisto, but he eliminated himself too. He did like a Hurricane Rana, which was actually pretty cool.
Was that supposed to happen?
I think it was.
Okay.
But on commentary, they tried to make sense of it, and they were just like, he was just
one of the commentators was like, he's an idiot.
Exactly. JBL of all people tried to justify it, but anyway.
So that was a cool spot, and then... Yeah, Harper went for a suplex to Ali to eliminate him. Then Braun boots Harper. Harper and Ali both go out of the ring.
Mid-suplex, holding him up.
in the suplex. And Ali about nails his head on the table.
He gets his neck landed on to the outside, then bounces up and almost pretty, like you just said, busts his face. Almost busts his face. Like, I know that was probably their idea to do that spot, but holy fucking shit, that was some scary shit.
Yeah,
like
shit.
That I watched that and literally screamed because I was like, that is the kind of shit that where people just like get really badly injured and their face is busted open.
Shit.
Yeah, that was brutal. Braun trying to lift the trophy too, and it like made it's like this dude flips ambulances.
Yeah, seriously.
And he's having a trouble with this fucking trophy. I get that the trophy's legit fucking heavy as hell, but it like just kind of he's just like, and it's like it kind of just ruins the whole like mystique, you know?
Yeah, I'd say I'm just not really a fan of battle royals too much as it is, but I think Braun winning was
right call.
Was a good call.
Now that we're out of that...
the kickoff.
So what did you guys think of like the intro packages for the actual main show? Like the little video thing? I really digged it. I thought it was awesome. They're usually pretty cool, but I liked the visuals. They actually kind of reminded me of NXT. How...
that was badass with the lights and stuff. That was awesome.
I'm trying to think like past WrestleManias. Like, can you think of any off the top of your head that like stuck with you? Because the jazz thing in 30... I guess, because that was memorable.
One of them had, didn't one of them have LL Cool J or something?
That was last year, maybe?
Or something?
Was it really that long ago? This is the wrestling effect where you're like, you think something happened like last year, and it was like 4 years
I don't
ago.
know. There was one with him, but honestly, there's been some cool ones, but they're just not all coming.
I was just curious.
Okay, one of them does, WrestleMania 20, the Where It All Begins Again. I do remember that one. I thought this one was cool.
It was cool. I thought visually it was pretty exciting. It kind of got me hyped up. It did remind me of kind of like the NXT promo stuff I really like. The first segment, so Alexa comes out and she's the host, which apparently when you become the host of WrestleMania, you can just book the whole fucking show.
You can do whatever the hell you want.
She's just like, whatever.
She's like, but she literally is like, I'm going to snap my fingers and a moment's going to happen. What did you think? What did you think would happen when she did that?
I had no idea.
Okay, I just was curious because I
didn't know what to expect. I was like...
Well, when Hogan came out, it actually still surprised me. I don't know why.
I'm trying to remember at the moment, I didn't know at all.
Okay, I just was curious if you guys thought it was going to be like something specific, but
no.
But yeah, so Hogan comes out, they have a little pose off, it's nice, and then Heyman, this is when things got exciting to me.
Yeah.
Heyman just goes, and you brought it up.
Yeah.
Fiend brought it up. So like he comes out and he fucking walrus waltzes all the way down to the ring and is like, I'm gonna my client just wants to go on first. Has that?
He's like, you guys don't care about my client anymore being the main event. He's like, let's just do it right now.
Get it
he
over
wants
with,
to get it over with and get out of here.
Did you notice
money.
the
like,
reference
whatever.
to UFC? He's like, we're going to Vegas.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty cool. Has Brock Lesnar ever like opened a show before like that?
The one I can remember was the Royal Rumble of 2002 or 3. It would have been 3. He had to wrestle Big Show, and whoever won got a spot in the Royal Rumble later in the night, and he won that.
So
match.
That's because that's like
the only time I can remember him being first.
But that was pre like.
But that was fucking
that was
the Universal title.
I was completely.
That was awesome. That was like. Basically, that was 2 main events. Like, they opened the show with fucking boom, main event. Like, here we go. Like, get the party started. Like,
and that's super
it hyped me up too. Like, I was like, what? Like,
that was the one thing I said before when we were doing our predictions thing was they got to put one. There's 3 big like exciting almost like equal main event matches. They need to do one at the beginning, one at the middle, and one at the end, and they literally did that.
And I thought they might have, but I thought it would have been Kofi and Bryan. I didn't think there was any chance in hell they were putting Brock on first. And they did, and it was super exciting. Like, that hyped me up big time. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, before the match even starts, Lesnar just kills Rollins, which was...
It almost didn't feel... The match didn't feel like a match. It almost felt just like... You know what I mean? It almost just felt like
really
a segment.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
So, basically, the match was, that. Then Rollins takes some suplexes. Ref gets knocked down. Low blow, 3 curb stomps, and it's over. But... I gotta say,
fucking low blows him. Yeah,
I will take.
That's the key.
Yeah,
Lesnar's one weakness is his peen.
Yeah,
the peen.
So if you're ever in a match with Brock Lesnar, you know what to do. But I gotta say, I will take these short, super fast, action-packed. Like him and Goldberg at 33, like under 5 minute, like fast paced, just finisher fest almost
for Lesnar
matches. Yeah. They are so fun and exciting to watch. I would much rather watch that than a 10+ minute of Suplex City.
It's like releasing a wild bull not a wild bull, but it's like releasing a bull in like a grocery store and just watching it go insane. You know what I mean? Like that's what these matches feel like.
It's over in 5 minutes.
It's crazy.
It's like okay.
Yeah. Like, I mean everything's destroyed. Things. Exactly. It's like a mess, and it's glorious chaos, and it was a perfect thing to start the show off. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And we have to say, after Rollins won, he did his spin with the hardcore.
Yeah, Seth Rollins' gimmick used to be, I'm a hardcore scene kid. So, of course, he's like, every time he wins a title, he does a cool,
gotta spin the title around his head. Which
hey, it's cool. I mean...
I'm so glad he did it, though.
Yeah, no, if he ever doesn't do it, it's like a huge disservice.
I think it's like when he wins the title for the first time.
Yeah, it's when he wins it for the first time. Yep.
So
then, after the Universal title, moving into Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, which you were talking earlier about the graphic effects they were doing, and how you thought they looked cool. This one, I thought they looked cool on this one. Like AJ,
because when they zoomed in, it didn't look like it was made of like literally pixels. It looked good.
Kind of looked like it fit on the stage almost. Like and I thought AJ's thing where it said phenomenal that he walked
pretty cool.
I thought
that's what I was talking about.
That was the one match that I was like, okay, those actually look. Pretty neat.
The snakes on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Those actually looked good for once, because remember the fucking
what
sperm?
What was the one that was just swiggling down?
That was the sperm.
Which
one?
What was that WrestleMania 33?
Yep. Well, the problem was that they tried to do with that one. There were 3 problems with that. One, I think a guy was controlling it on a keyboard,
trying to keep
playing an old '90s game, like www.
Right. Keep going, oh shit!
But also, they tried to do a perspective thing where the snake wasn't full length. It was like you were looking at it from the front, so it literally looked like a sperm because it had a big head and a little tail. That's a dark time for... I think even Orton was like, this is not good.
Orton had his golden shower on the side of the stage.
Hell yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Another notable thing, I didn't realize it until people on Twitter talking about it, but this was the one where the lights were really bad. The crowd couldn't actually see a lot of the match because of the really bright lights.
But how will we enjoy the show if the audience isn't yellow and red?
Yeah.
I mean, like, how can I enjoy my wrestling if I don't see all these people bathed in crimson light? I will say it looked pretty, but, like, just to spend, like, hundreds of dollars on a ticket and have, like, a spotlight shining in your eyes.
Right.
Oh, my God. Fuck that. The match was good. It was fine.
No, it was actually...
It was really good.
Really cool, and some of my...
It sucks the crowd wasn't into it, though, because they were all focused on the light thing. Like,
yeah, because the crowd was booing the lights and stuff, so...
Imagine being a wrestler...
reacting to the match, they were reacting to the lights.
But imagine being, like, AJ or something, right? Okay, I'm just, like... Imagine being AJ and you're, like... doing your babyface shtick and doing all this stuff, and the crowd's just booing. Like, I just can't imagine how it'd be like being a musician and playing a song, and people are just like, there's a fight going on at the back of the bar, and people are yelling,
just reacting to that.
I mean, it would just be distracting. I just don't know how they deal with that shit. Like,
they teased the RKO or the phenomenal forearm into the RKO because he hit it on SmackDown. So this time he had it scouted. Yep. Orton tried to do an RKO off the top rope, which would have been pretty badass, but cool, AJ got out of it. And then I thought the finish was pretty cool. So AJ does a phenomenal forearm to the outside. They get back in. Right. Then he goes for another one. He hops up on the ropes. Orton tries to RKO him while he's up on the ropes. Right. He counters, then he hits the forearm. I thought that was a pretty cool, smooth finish.
The thing was that their movesets just are like a puzzle piece. It's just like, boom, like they interlock.
Yeah.
Like, everything that Orton does fits perfectly with everything AJ does.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was cool about
this match. I like that one.
Yeah, it was a very good match. That's the thing is, like, most of the matches were like pretty damn
solid,
awesome.
Yeah.
What another general thing about the show I thought was cool that you brought up, Grim, was that they had like guest commentators for like almost every single match.
That was cool.
Yeah. It made it more interesting. Like, they brought Lawler out for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember who for everybody, but they had Paige, they had JBL, they had Booker T, Jerry Lawler. They had a lot of different people.
Keeps your commentators fresh too.
Well, it gives the other commentators a
break,
rest, instead of going.
Those guys
time.
would be pissing their pants if they didn't switch, because it's like it was literally 7 hours with the like if they weren't switching out, like, you're wearing a fucking diaper because
like you've got a pee bottle, like
like that's what I'm saying. Like, with the little
camera's not on you, you're going
catheter it up. Because I was gonna say I have to pee like every half hour. I don't know how the fuck I deal with that. Like, you just don't drink water for a day beforehand. Right. I mean, it's insane. Like how that's another thing to think about is just like how fucking worn out they get and have to sit through that bullshit.
It's insane. The SmackDown Tag Team title match was amazing. This was one of my favorite matches to watch.
Just hype.
The Fatal 4-Way. Back to the set and the entrances. I think, honestly, Ricochet's entrance, I think, looked the coolest on this set.
For sure. Okay.
The way it just... If you go back and rewatch it, I just thought it looked so badass.
Well,
his big Ricochet with the black and white, and like it just looked badass.
Yeah. One counterpoint to that. All the screen effects looked amazing. Yeah. But one problem with that setup was that normally his cool laser light, normally it's only about 2 feet above him, so you get this really awesome effect where the light it's super bright because it's not traveling very far and it goes through the fog. The problem when you're on a big stage, and this was a problem with Alistair as well, is the fog and everything just disperses immediately, and also the lights too, exactly, and then also the light was like 40 feet above him.
So it doesn't really have that same
You don't
effect.
See the
circular lasers.
But you're right, everything else looked fucking sweet.
His graphics and stuff, I just thought really
The problem was just he didn't have his cool circle laser thing. I don't even know how to get the cone around him.
Yeah, the cone,
where he's going like this. Like, it was just too high above him, but I do think, like, that was everyone having special graphics and everyone having little tweaks and stuff to their entrances, like, makes it feel like a big deal, you know?
Right.
Yeah, the match was killer.
Fast-paced, really some exciting spots, especially with Ricochet and Cesaro. Like,
oh my god,
I don't know what you call it exactly.
He spun him
Ricochet, but before that, Ricochet did like a big old. He that was awesome. Flipped around him for like 10 seconds.
We call that good lucha things.
Yeah, good lucha thing. And then, obviously...
Cesaro, that was just amazing.
I timed it.
Just to describe this to listeners who might not know, like, basically, luchadors, if you've ever seen any kind of lucha stuff, every once in a while you have, like, a little dude, and he's just, like, somehow... It's like a magnet. It's like a magnet stuck to someone, and they just are spinning around their body.
Yeah.
And you don't really know how they're staying on their body, because it kind of just looks like something orbiting a person. That lasted for like 15 seconds of him just going around Cesaro.
You said you timed it?
Well, I timed Cesaro's swing.
Oh, okay.
So he was doing the swing while a little up for Sheamus. He was doing the 10 beats of the Balrin or whatever.
He beats on his opponent.
So, every other opponent at the same time. Cesaro swung Ricochet for 45 seconds.
Holy shit.
That's insane.
I think...
How many times is that?
I don't know. I didn't count, but
it'd probably be like 30 times because it's not like a full second per. But that's
I wonder what his record is.
I think that might be it.
That's got to be.
It has to be. That was so long.
That was crazy.
I've never seen it be that long. And also, it's obviously the person taking it is getting swung. He grabs their feet and spins in a circle,
no shit.
But Ricochet, his head probably all the blood to your head.
I can't even imagine after that. I would just be like,
dude, I can't ride fair rides because I
would vomit. I would just puke all over while he's spinning me. It would get all over the opponents. It would be so gross.
That could be and then Vince is like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'd get a push.
Exactly.
I'd get a push, but I
got to puke.
Yeah, an epic Tower of Doom spot. There's a Tower of Doom spot, with everybody basically except Aleister Black. So great match. Awesome, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about it, but that was one of my favorites of the night. I really enjoyed it. So Miz and Shane, Falls Count Anywhere. This
match
was amazing.
Was pretty much one of the favorite matches.
After this, it was I was like, that was fucking sick.
This was the most fun to watch of the night.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah,
this was just fun.
This is when you talk about objective entertainment of wrestling. When you're wrestling is fun to watch because they fucking break their bodies going through tables and shit. This is the match you point to. I can't think of another match like this that was I guess you could call it hardcore, Falls Count Anywhere, Last Man Standing, all those types of matches that take place outside the ring and involve crazy shit. This is the most fun I've ever seen. Literally, ever. That I can think of.
Yeah. When Shane was doing his entrance, I thought it was kind of funny. He restarted his entrance 3 times. Yeah, that's good. Pretty funny.
That's some good classic heel shit. Yeah.
Wait.
He came out about halfway down.
He's doing this bit where he's just
Greg Hamilton, the announcer, who's incredible.
He's the best.
He's he wants him to call him best in the world and say it with
gusto.
So he restarts. Then he gets in the ring. Right, the reason I thought it was so funny is just how his music starts. Here comes the money, over and over.
It helps that his music is super trollish.
Well, that's why it's hilarious. I thought that was funny.
Here we go.
I gotta say, during the match, Papa Miz getting involved. That was great because it was
George.
Yeah, George getting in there. So funny. I kind of wish he got a hit on Shane, but did he actually get a hit on Shane?
No,
I don't think he did
because he was squaring up and Shane was like, "Okay, here we
Shane
go,"
was
and then
showing
he
him how to put his fists up and stuff. But
kudos to his dad for making an ass of himself. Seriously, if you
just
think about
it, the biggest goof.
Basically. He did not want to do any of the stuff. So kudos, MVP George.
Right. Yeah, that added a lot. And they actually used the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation well. Sometimes there's a match with a stipulation and it doesn't mean shit. Like that no DQ match in NXT.
Match almost,
this time they had stuff in the ring, but they went everywhere. They went through the crowd.
No, they got their money's worth.
The fucking Indian,
they climbed up that scaffolding, which actually, I said while we were watching, it made me think of WrestleMania 17, Triple H and Undertaker kind of climbed up on some scaffolding.
It almost looked exactly the same, the platform,
like that. One time, Shane gets knocked over a barricade and he lands on the top of a golf cart and then falls off.
Oh my god! Yeah, I was like, oh man, because
what was supposed to happen?
I think he was supposed to land maybe on the golf cart and not.
He slid though.
He slid off and
he bounced off of it. I was like, oh my god!
But if you notice when Shane did that, I agree. I think he was supposed to maybe land there and then
roll off. But
but if you watch him, he launches himself so far. There's no way.
Down. Yeah, that could have been really.
And it was
bad.
Slippery. That's why I'm wondering if maybe he did mean to go all the way to the floor, flat back bump, but he lands on the top to kind of cushion it, slide into it. But either way, it looked fucking gnarly. I literally was like, I was not disgusted. I was into it, but I was just like, that was scary because holy fucking shit! Putting your skull on the line that shit. Literally.
Yeah, and then the finish obviously was awesome. That superplex from the top of that scaffolding.
Oh, shit, yeah. And the finish. Let's talk about how
what happened immediately after. Yeah.
How Shane ended up winning.
Shane ends up winning. Yeah.
Because it was Miz that did the super.
Miz was on the bottom. Yeah. Shane just happened to kind of
land on top in the pile.
Yeah. So I understand. Yeah. Obviously, there's got to be some heel wins here, and if this is one of the one of the heel wins we have to get.
Right.
It was a good way to do it. It didn't make Miz look weak at all because he did the damn move, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, that was like
Shane got lucky.
I loved it. I love that because I actually said in the predictions that we had, I was like, I think that Miz will win, but it'll be one of those things where he jumps. I just didn't imagine them coming down together.
Yeah.
But I figured it would be one of those things where maybe Miz steps out of the way, Shane hits the ground, and then they're both down and he just rolls on top of him or something. But
I thought that too.
That was almost like masterful. That was like exactly how you do it.
Great ending. Good way to have Shane win, but Miz not look like a bitch, you know?
Right.
I give it to 5 stars.
Women's tag team title match.
Oh, man.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Bailey on her entrance, her Bailey buddies.
That was sad.
Only really like 3 of them came up. It was a total malfunction. The camera even only tried to show one side because the other ones just were like.
I will say though,
depressing.
Kudos to Bailey though. She just like it. I noticed her. She pointed out and she's like, "Well, what can you do?" And then she just kept walking. It was just really funny. Like,
and also
and my babes. Natalia and Beth, like what?
Divas of Doom,
and they were bad.
I thought they had a chance in this one because like the whole Bret Hart with
Bret did come out.
If you remember when we were watching it together, I'm like, they're winning because Bret Hart's there.
Yeah. You're like, what? Like
he didn't come to the ring.
Oh snap! Is happening. Like,
he didn't come to the ring though, but also the Iconics came out with a very
their gear was amazing.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that was definitely either Maleficent and her like little crow boy.
Yeah, Billy was definitely
I thought it was Maleficent,
but I didn't know.
I thought
the only other thing
when
was
I
Power
saw
Rangers.
When I saw it, I was
Billy
just like,
was Maleficent, but I didn't.
But
know
then she has like a crow in the movie. You know, she has like the little servant. So that's what they were probably going for.
Yeah.
The only other thing was maybe Rita Repulsa and Goldar from. But she didn't have the outfit because Goldar is like a big like monkey with like crow wings or whatever. But anyway, they looked awesome, and she had the Eddie Guerrero really cool. Tights.
Yeah, she was wearing the Eddie gear, and I was just joking. Sasha's probably like, "You bitch, that's my thing. Only I get to wear.
You're gonna take my title
only I get to
my
wear.
Gimmick. Yeah,
only I get to wear Eddie gear.
Yeah. That's my dad.
I would say the Natalya and Beth looked like the most badasses in this match. Natalya
fucking Beth at the end. Oh my god!
Yeah. Well, Natalya did a badass spinning power bomb.
Oh, that was cool
she
too.
She spun around like that was
6 times.
That was amazing.
It was crazy.
And then Beth, obviously, a top rope glam slam was amazing.
Top rope glam slam was badass.
But I do got to give credits. Obviously, the Iconics won, but they had some pretty sweet tandem moves in the match. Like they look like a tight tag team. You know,
they're one of the
Beth and Natalya winning from them. I don't care.
I mean, are they done teaming?
That's I don't know if that was it for Beth or if she's going to be around, but she looked amazing.
They should stick around and do a program. But I think, to Grimm's point, I think the Iconics are one of the only teams that they've been a team literally since they started wrestling for 15 years, they said?
Yeah, something
That's fucking crazy. So they're
really? Even like through
Aussie, their Aussie wrestling school and everything.
They tag team.
Well, I guess they went to school together, so they might not have been teaming formally the whole time, but like in real life they were like a tag team.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where they're like the legit, probably best option. I guess my thing is like I kind of would have rather them been the inaugural champs and then Sasha and Bailey win it at Mania. But then it's too many face things, I guess. But I don't really have any complaints about this. It was an awesome match.
I thought it was a really good match.
Surprise finish for sure.
I didn't think the Iconics would actually win.
Slam, I was like, oh, that's over.
Right.
And then they came in and was just like, nope.
And that was perfect too.
Thanks for the win.
They're like they're little weasels.
Right.
And this is, I guess, the only other down thing about it is that, we were kind of hyped for Sasha and Bailey to have a long reign where they go around all the divisions and have put on good matches. Obviously, they won't get to go to NXT and put on any matches there, but I think it's a small price to pay to have the Iconics like holding a title and now it's legitimizing them more. So
yeah,
right, for sure.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like after the Iconics won the titles, you know how like after like all the big matches, they'd zoom out to show the whole stadium,
right?
And they do like fireworks and cool stuff and show the thing. I swear to God, go back and watch this. They're crying and hugging and they're like putting them over big time on commentary, but it zooms out and you just hear. Like I swear, like the commentator's like, "What a moment" or something, and then you just hear like a tiny baby pop, like of like a boom, like a baby firework, like nothing.
That's all.
Yeah, nothing visible though, and then it just lingers on that shot, that aerial helicopter view or drone view for 20 seconds. No one's saying anything. I think it was like there was supposed to be.
Were there pyro after that? I don't remember.
Not for the Iconics, no. Like that's why it was hilarious, but I felt really bad because I think they were supposed to get like a big like, you know, like big explosions and stuff. And literally, there's just, I'll show you after this, but there's just like a little.
And moving on, the WWE Championship. I mean, this is the match we were all waiting for.
I was so rock hard for this match.
Kofi fucking Mania.
Baby!
Yeah.
So, however, just up front, I gotta say, I don't think I've been as nervous during a wrestling match as I was during this. I have to admit, when I went back and rewatched...
Holy cow, yeah.
I was so nervous. Every near fall was like a mini heart attack, and I almost couldn't, towards the end of the match, I missed all the amazing counters and stuff that Brian was doing and stuff, because I was just so scared. I was like...
Yeah, well, because
I can't even put into words.
When you rewatch it, you know you're safe.
Exactly. But
you can really enjoy it, but...
Like hyperventilating.
But yeah, all of Brian's offense, you're like, shit, this could be it, this could be it.
The knee.
Oh, no. I bought it.
Oh my God.
I bought it.
Oh
I
my
thought it was over.
fucking God, that knee. Because no one kicks out of that except like maybe two people. Reigns, I think, and maybe
I thought
Cena.
it was over.
No, Cena didn't even kick
Cena
out of it.
didn't kick out, no.
That shows you just how scary that was. Because that match was incredible. Daniel Bryan at the peak of his, like, who would have thought after he'd come back after retiring and then be better?
Right.
Better. It's like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, if a year ago you said Daniel Bryan would be WWE champion, wrestling at WrestleMania as a heel,
and it's the best work he's ever done.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, the match was the best pure wrestling match of the night. Like,
to me, it was like, and this is not to disparage the women that went on in the real main event. To me, this was like my personal main event.
Sure.
Just because I was so...
It's the one I was most invested in.
I was so fucking scared. But my problem was like, I got worked so hard in the match. Like I was so I was so invested in it that I had a hard time analyzing it like a critic or like someone who's just watching. Sure. I was just actually caught up in the story. Yeah. So it's one of those things like...
Which doesn't happen too all often, the time because this is one that you're legitimately like, I really want Kofi to win here, but I'm not sure he's gonna.
It didn't feel like I was watching a wrestling match so much as I was witnessing a man fight to like for his like literally. It's hard to explain, but like when wrestling is like that, you kind of stop seeing it as wrestling and it sort of becomes like this weird quasi like almost mythology thing where it's like all the moves suddenly it's like yeah, you can appreciate what they're doing, but you almost care more about the underlying story than you do about the actual thing, which almost never happens for me.
No,
I can honestly
I know
say.
what you mean.
It was fucking crazy. I was sweating. I was screaming.
Yeah, we were yelling. We were going crazy, especially for this match. And the crowd was the hottest for this match for sure.
Well,
like,
and this is the thing. One was a story, and two, it was. What were we, 3-4 hours in at this point?
Yeah,
5 hours in.
Peak excited.
So that's the thing. That's like the after this match would be about the length of a normal Mania, like in the past, you know. Right. So this is the problem that I think we're gonna reach. We're gonna come to this conclusion.
This was probably so.
Just think about how like the crowd is like they blow their load during this match, like as far as energy goes.
Yeah,
and you can feel it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, some things I noticed. Rowan wearing a badass Romero shirt.
Rowan always has awesome like tie-in shirts, like metal shirts and stuff. Like he also is like a huge horror fan. Yeah, like he had Tom Savini, the dude who did like the Bludgeon Brothers masks and stuff.
That's right.
Which is really cool. But he also did a lot of the effects for I want to say Day of the Dead. He did like a remake of Night of the Living. This is starting to become a horror thing. But either way, Rowan has like a big tie-in with horror and metal, and that's kind of like why I like him. Because he's not an insane wrestler or anything.
Yeah.
He's also really good in that Brian, like, handler.
Yeah, it's a good role for him, yeah. Another thing is when Kofi was making his entrance, I got a little worried because the commentary went, Kofi! Kingston! I was like, is he just Kofi? I will kill somebody if he's just Kofi.
Well, and that's the thing is, honestly, since I figured Kofi was winning, that's actually really scary. Because, like, it's like their way of, like, pushing, like, okay, well, now we're going to get behind him, so we got to cut a name off.
You're just Kofi. It's like, shit!
God, yeah, that needs to stop sometime soon. Like, please.
Yeah.
Let the names live.
Their face wrestlers were watching backstage, which was cool, and it cut to them. But it was so funny seeing like Nikki Cross be like, "Yeah, come on, Kofi, come on, Kofi." I just felt so weird and out of place.
So I know most people didn't catch it. I caught it. I don't know if you guys caught it when you rewatched it or not. But when Kofi was in the ring, before Bryan came out, when New Day was in the ring, it showed a shot of where the belt was gonna sit on the table.
Right.
But it had the new belt, or not the new belt, the
original belt.
The old belt, but like it's back, up. So the new belt.
Yeah,
I think it might have been new because it was shiny as fuck. Like,
but it was underneath the cloth already, like on the table, and like I saw it and I was like,
you see the outline of the thing.
I was like, well, shit. I was like, I know he's gonna win it. Then it's sitting on the table.
Well, and that's how I felt too with the Biggie bringing a box
but
out.
Then but then I noticed when Bryan came out, he put the title around the
other thing,
the other belt. Maybe I was like, well, what the fuck? It's like right there,
right. Know? I think commentary did a good job of like because people did notice that. But the commentary did a good job of kind of like covering up like the kayfabe inconsistency of like, well, why would they have T-shirts made if he was gonna maybe lose? And they were actually commentary was really good all night. But Corey Graves was like, they would have had to ship those to some third world country if Kofi lost because like they just printed, and they actually showed Bryan had like his own shirts made, which they're selling. But like, I just thought it was funny that like they did try to patch that up a bit because for some people like it would be like, well, he got shirts made. Of course he's going to win. But it was kind of like they tried to make it seem like there was a chance he would lose, you know. But yeah, that was my personal match of the night.
Agreed.
It was just too fucking hype. I couldn't.
Yeah.
But the same problem was since it was the midpoint of the show, I was so hype. It was like, I was like
exhausted. Where do you go from there, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there were a lot of cool spots. I'll just touch on one that I thought was really sweet was Kofi did a Meteora that got countered by Bryan into a Boston Crab. I thought that was pretty sweet. I mean, I could
too many, really.
This.
Yeah.
And the other thing, just the emotion after he won, seeing Big E and Xavier Woods like crying and like so happy for Kofi was just really, really put this.
Well, it was like Xavier's whole career goal. Also, I want to shout out to Byron Saxton, who he was doing this. He was so passionate. I only listened to him afterwards, you know, like when I rewatched certain segments. But this whole Kofi storyline has been like MVP of like. This is like he's really, the JR of the story, like putting over the commentary, you know, and just being like so into it.
Yeah, Byron was great. The commentary was great the whole night, and the emotion really added a lot to this already great match. The U.S. title match. I mean, Ray's outfit looked badass.
He did.
His gear.
He looked like an Aztec warrior, and I loved it.
This was kind of a squash match.
Well, he looked awesome.
He really was.
It was. It was a minute long.
Well, I just looked at his gear, and it had like Aztec medallions.
I think I got up to do something, and then it was over.
I actually.
How long was it?
It was a minute. Minute 30, or if that.
Ray did that.
Honestly, I think it was a minute.
I can sum it up for you. Ray does a 619. Samoa Joe catches him off the top, and chokes him out.
Yeah,
that's it.
It made Joe look like a beast.
It needed to happen.
Cool. It'd be cool to see these guys have an actual full-length match sometime. And I was a little surprised there was no Dominic, but that's really all I have to say about it.
Speaking of looking like a beast.
Reigns and McIntyre. So Drew's entrance was awesome. That was like a special entrance. We actually got one having the bagpipes and the drums. I thought that was cool.
There's like a curse,
they did that in NXT. And it was cool that they did it again here.
There's a thing with the main roster though. If you notice, like usually if you get a special entrance, you're gonna lose.
Like that sometimes
it's not always true, but it's like almost 70%.
No, that actually is kind of something
to think about.
Something there. And then Reigns' entrance, I almost rewatching, especially, I almost like laughed watching it because he had the most pyro out of anyone for sure. It felt like I don't know if you guys have really played them, but the wrestling games, you can make your own entrances and you can add pyro at any time you want. So you can, most wrestlers don't have pyro and, they don't have pyro on the stage and the ramp and in the ring. But if you make your cool, badass creator wrestler, you give yourself all the pyro at every point you
stage,
can. That's what Reigns' entrance felt like. He comes out, he has pyro.
He punches the ground.
On the stage. He has pyro as he's walking down the ramp. He has pyro as he gets in the ring. I was like, Jesus Christ. It was basically Vince like, he's still the fucking guy.
And I think it was also kind of like, they're kind of celebrating his like return or whatever. Here's the thing. I personally was of the opinion that Drew should win just because Roman doesn't need to win. But I knew for sure WWE wouldn't have Roman come back from fighting leukemia and lose a match at WrestleMania. So I got that. It was obvious.
Right.
My thing, though, that I think I've already noticed is people are already booing Roman again.
Well, because he returned. It was a good moment, and everybody obviously was happy to see him. But now we know we're back to where we were.
And here's my big thing, and this is my problem with what they're doing. They are trying to weave the leukemia battle into Roman Reigns' character. And they gave him like the ribbons and all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't like.
Here's the thing. Everyone was very happy for Joe. Everyone was super happy that Joe came back. And they were happy for Joe that he beat leukemia.
Definitely.
But when you just take a character like Roman, who basically has no character other than that he's really strong and he had his stuff with the Shield, and you just take something like, and I had leukemia, and you tag it onto the wrestling character, not Joe, who we all love. We love the guy, don't like the character. Does it make us like the character now? No, because we know Joe had leukemia, not Roman, and they're trying to use, it's this weird thing where it's so transparent that they're trying to have that goodwill that fans have for someone, because obviously we don't want anyone to have cancer, and they're trying to vampire leech it. Leech that
obviously
goodwill.
You won't boo this man. He had cancer.
Exactly, and also buy his T-shirt because there's a cancer thing on it, and it's just, to me, it rings so hollow, and it's not fair to Joe, the guy who plays Roman. It's not fair to Roman. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, I don't know what you do with Roman. I think you gotta just start over. You gotta give him something.
They won't.
He was gone, and he could have came back as Joe, like a new man, like be like the guy who everyone loves to see backstage, who's like, he's fun, he thinks on his feet, he's witty, he's lovable, he's cool, he's like just like a big brother to everybody. But no, he comes back, silent badass, who's gonna kick Drew's ass, and that's like, no one wants to see that.
Which he did. The match was. I thought it was not bad. It was fine, but it kind of felt like what you'd see in a Raw main event, you know?
Yeah. This is the Roman problem. He's a great wrestler, but it's always the same fucking thing. It's the same. It's formula.
Yeah,
you know?
and the crowd was dead after this. Dead from this, probably because the WWE title match drained.
Not really their fault at all.
Yeah, but I will say it was a fine match.
It was fine. Yeah.
No real complaint other than, obviously I would have liked to see Drew win, but it was a fine match. So this next segment was amazing. Elias.
Hell yeah, it was amazing. This was actually got me back into the show.
At this point, I had to step outside to just kind of cool off, because we had been watching a lot, and so I was watching from like our screen door, watching through, and I saw Elias was basically playing with himself, on every instrument, which I thought that was funny and different and unique.
Yeah. Real quick to interject, like a lot of people were like, "Wow, when did Elias learn to play everything so well?" And I'm like, dude has always been serviceable. It's just he's a heel, so he plays like shit on purpose.
Yeah, that's what gets him heat.
It's funny to have a guy who's like, I'm amazing, and then go,
and it's like not be able
So people were like, when did this happen? It's like, well, they wouldn't have had him do this.
He's a musician.
Exactly. They wouldn't have had him do it if he hasn't practiced,
Yeah, so then
just thought it was funny.
He does this thing, and then there's a kind of lengthy video interruption, which it was like Babe Ruth baseball or something, because I was actually outside as it was happening, and then I came in.
Right.
And from that, I didn't know who it was going to be.
I knew it was going to be Cena. Had no idea, though, that it was going to be Thuganomics.
I had a feeling it was,
it felt so...
From the video, you felt
Cena
like it was
would, bust in
because
and,
it reminded me...
and be like, I'm back, Cena's back.
That video package reminded me of old Cena stuff.
Of his old kind of
like 2000s, late 2000s.
Well, now that I look at it and think about it...
But Cena's from fucking Boston, right? So why is he Babe Ruth? Like, isn't there like some hatred?
Because they were in New York.
I know, but Boston and New York, don't they hate each other and stuff?
Yeah, but like...
Fuck it.
Babe Ruth also left Boston to go to New York, so that's another reason why Boston hates New York.
Right. Okay. So then there's well, that gives more of a connection for John, because the thing with Cena was like, when he came out like that, I had never seen, I didn't watch back then. I knew of the gimmick, but I didn't know.
Well, like I said, I got in like 2005, 2006, which by that time he had stopped doing the Thuganomics stuff, but. When you become a huge fan, you go back and rewatch stuff.
Sure,
and me and my friends,
I've seen plenty.
We would rewatch his rap battles and just because he would do a freestyle every week, like that was his thing.
Super witty, super
I loved Thuganomics Cena, and when he came out, that honestly,
little string thing is like I was like, what?
I loved that music. I love that character. That I think that was my biggest mark-out moment of the night. For sure.
That was pretty cool.
I loved it.
That was awesome.
If
he came back and did some Dr. Thugonomics, like...
Yeah, it's probably a one-off, but...
It is, but
here's the thing, I wouldn't be against it, but like I said, like, if that hadn't happened... That segment alone just got me back into the show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You're right.
Because if they didn't do that, I would have been checked out.
Yeah, that definitely got me back.
Could have brought that back.
Exactly. Even the main event, I would have just been like, all right, give Becky the belts because I want to like get this over with. Right. But no, that was so
obviously
fun.
His rap was hilarious. And another little thing is obviously he was dressed like his old Thugonomics character. He also the way he did his moves was like the way he did the five knuckle shuffle. If you remember how he normally does the five knuckle shuffle,
right.
It's different. The way he did it there was like how he used to do it.
And he said it was an FU and not
the FU, and he pumped up the shoes.
Oh my god, that was so
perfect. I think that was my biggest mark-out moment of the night. It was amazing. Return.
He was definitely playing himself in a time past. Yeah, it was really interesting.
I do have to say, and I said it while we were watching, it's a good thing he didn't take off that hat, though, because he would have had that dumbass hair. Would have ruined the whole vibe.
I was actually joking that since he's slimmed down, he looks kind of like how he used to before he went full-on, Gorilla Man. So he almost looked the part perfectly, but he took that hair.
The hair.
If you just saw that, patch, that bald patch, and that weird, longish hair... Oh man, that would have been
over thing.
You would have just heard 82,000 people gasp in horror. Like,
what was it for the movie that he's doing?
Yeah. So, what'd you guys think about the Batista and Triple H match?
I actually thought it was pretty good.
It was
brutal.
So right off the bat, it was the longest match of the night.
Are you fucking kidding?
That was the longest of the night.
I would have never guessed that. I would have said the WWE.
No, that was long. That was longer by about a minute.
Well, Triple H and Batista, they're the old school guys. They work slow. It was brutal.
It felt like an old school, that kind of slow, methodical, brutal time. Yeah. And that's fitting for these guys. I mean, they've had quite a few matches before, and it was that style.
And they're old.
The fact that it was no holds barred, they took good advantage of that. This was some of the spots they did were pretty brutal. Using unique weapons you don't normally
each other
see.
On the tables like fucking 20 times before.
Yeah, well, the first one didn't break, and then they do another one.
The second one didn't break, but then Triple H fucking speared him into the table and broke, and it was like, oh, okay, fuck.
Can we just talk about real quick Batista's memeiness? He tripped getting in the ring,
my God.
And he had this amazing
down the ramp or whatever.
He I think it was climbing he played it off pretty well, but I'm just saying he is just everything he does is funny, whether he means for it to be or not. Then when Triple H was ripping out his nose ring, which was probably the highlight of the match.
He was like, oh!
Yeah, I mean, he was just so fucking funny.
And I have two commentary moments here. One, after the nose ring thing, I thought it was funny. Shawn Michaels was on commentary and he said, and that's why you shouldn't get your body pierced.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Coming from Shawn, don't tell anybody what to do with their body.
Yeah, and then the other one, the entrances, Batista, had the cool Hollywood entrance, and then Triple H had a Mad Max thing, which I thought it was cool. Yeah. It was cool.
It was cool in a lame way. It was so
But you know what made it not cool? Right after he did his entrance, Michael Cole saying, how cool was that?
No, that's
he literally said that.
That was fucking hilarious because it was two older men who don't really know. Because normally Triple H, every entrance he has at WrestleMania is midlife crisis, the wrestler.
Yeah, I'm a badass.
Yeah, motorcycles. I'm a barbarian. This one was check out
the Terminator.
Exactly, he is the midlife crisis. And then so Michael Cole saying that was so funny because they're just sold it.
Yeah, it fits right in. Yeah.
I will say, what did you think? I felt like the whole match Triple H was the heel.
Yeah, he was beating him with a chain and pliers and a wrench.
I think I've just seen Triple H be the heel for so many years now. I can't not see him as a face, or as a heel. It's just too hard. But it was a fun match. I dug it. It was some goofy shit and some brutal shit, and that's
I thought it was good. And obviously, that's Batista's. That was his last match. So
thank you, Batista, for your service. Yeah. We will meme you for eternity.
Yeah. So speaking of last matches, Kurt Angle's last match against Baron Corbin. So
hey, whatever.
As far as the match, I'll say this, along with the women's battle royal, was my least favorite.
This is the downer of the night.
But I mean, it's just,
I'm a Corbin fan.
No. I'm a Corbin fan.
I'm all for him winning. It was cool. I mean, it sucks because it was Kurt Angle and it was his last match. Yes, but I think it would have sucked more for Corbin to
have lost.
Oh God, he couldn't.
If Corbin would have lost, that would have sucked for him.
No, if Corbin lost, I would have been upset. I would have been upset.
And his character moving forward,
because it's a throw. Kurt Angle winning. What does that do for anybody?
Yeah, no shit.
No, I agree.
He's already, he's.
My problem wasn't with Corbin winning.
I also hated the segment after the match.
Where Kurt just talked or whatever.
Kurt was like, "Hold up, give me the mic."
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but
they gotta let him talk or whatever.
I didn't feel like they could have done that after the show.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of just a bummer.
Because it kind of killed the show for a second too. I mean, not because
that's what I'm saying.
Made people feel good.
It's a downer moment, yeah.
But sad at the same time.
That's the thing is, I think the way to sum it up is that it had to be a downer regardless of how it could have been anybody. I think my one criticism is that
I'm glad it was Corbin though because it gives him.
It's fine. It's just
gives him
people wanted to see. There's still so many matches to see.
Kurt Angle on his last match, what?
Yeah, I mean, it gets him heat for sure.
My thing is about it is, I just feel like when you look at Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels in past WrestleManias who had their retirement matches, those were big moments, grand matches. And obviously they could go a lot more than Kurt can right now. But it would have been cool that if they would have put him with somebody who could have
carried him.
Given him that match or that moment, because people aren't going to look back at this like they look back at Sean's retirement and Ric Flair's retirement. They're not going to.
It's going to be, but I will say kudos to WWE for Baron Corbin is safe. He it's not like there was any.
Also, End of Days is the most protective move right now.
It kind of is. Yeah. It's a brutal fucking
WWE.
It fucks people up big time.
Yeah, and nobody's ever kicked out of it.
It was what it was, and it had to be that way, basically. It's just, to me, it was like the low point just because, you have Kurt Angle retiring.
So, the IC title, Lashley's contacts were pretty badass.
Bobby Lashley looked like the demon. Yeah. He was more demonic than the demon. This is my problem. And I could rant. I'm not going to, but here's all I'm going to say about this match. I don't even want to get into the match itself. It was fine. I love Finn. I think he's a great wrestler. But the demon has got to go or undergo a massive change. Because in NXT, when you have a guy with belts on his head and in weird paint and he's got ribbons and stuff, it looks pretty cool in the NXT arena.
For NXT.
But when you put that man in a stadium and we just saw all the stuff we just saw, it just looks like a dude in a Halloween costume with belts on his head.
I gotta say something real fast, just to interject with that. I had this crazy ass dream with
here we go.
Finn Balor entrance as the demon.
You were?
No, not me, but I saw Finn Balor's demon entrance.
Sure.
I don't know if it was at a live event or I saw it on TV in my dream or whatever, but I remember visually, he came out in his paint and stuff, but instead of the fucking
belts,
tentacle noodles,
they're belts,
whatever.
Literal belts.
It was
that hold your pants up.
It was the nasty, wet, oily hair that Kane has on his mask.
Oh, okay.
And it was thinned. It was thinned out hair, you know, so it looked really nasty and
more scary.
Yeah, and I was and so now I just want to be man, just use that as the demon hair, the demon.
He'd be better with nothing at this point.
I know, but
my thing is,
if you had to do the fucking face paint and stuff, do that, have him have hair, just not the fucking tentacles.
If Billy Kay can get horns, why can't Finn?
I know.
That's true.
He's going for less of a hell demon and more of a Lovecraftian sort of tentacle crawling chaos.
Fucking tentacles.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. I hate this. You know what it reminded me of? Preschool boogeyman is what it made me think of.
It makes me think of ravers. I'm sorry.
Who?
Ravers.
Oh, ravers. Yes, because they have
the fucking no, it's the exact same material they have on their
But that would be better though. He's using
it's
belts.
Basically a glorified.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but even if he used those things that ravers use, it would look better.
Right.
That's how bad the gimmick is, and that's how bad the outfit is. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about the match.
Well, on a positive, I'll just say this: Finn finally, when he does the demon, feels like he is wrestling a little different. He's putting more intensity. He's busting out different moves. He did a power bomb. He's doing some different kicks and stuff.
I just don't think it's enough.
It's not enough.
And his tongue, here's my other problem too. He has a normal ass tongue. When Gene Simmons sticks his tongue out and blood comes out, it's fucking sick because his tongue is long, pointy like a demon. Finn just has a normal dude tongue.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but you're right. He wrestles a little fiercer.
It's not enough.
It's not enough.
But it's gradually he's wrestling different. And in NXT it was the exact same when he first started doing it on the main.
Here's my thing.
The exact same. He's finally starting to do it.
Hopefully from here on out, I want him to be heel more
Yeah,
that would be nice.
If he had a heel, I think he just plays better off as a heel.
He really does.
He's just got more attitude to him, I think.
Yeah.
And it plays off.
My thing was that Lashley looked scarier than the Demon, and that's my problem. And
I think Lashley actually also looked better in this match.
He did. He really.
That spear through the ropes was badass.
This is the problem with face wrestlers sometimes, is that they regress. They're limited to their 5 moves of doom or whatever. Finn, if you're listening, I know you're not. Here's what I would do. The Demon, it's done, man. Get rid of the Demon.
Hey, I don't mind it every now and then.
Okay, then fucking rework it, because if Finn Balor just put on body paint for big matches like he did back after he left New Japan, we're good.
Actually, that's true. It doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to be an alter ego, because guess what? It isn't an alter ego. It's a marketing scheme, and you know what will sell? Body paint. You don't have to call it something. You can make 10 action figures, all different outfits and different getups. You know, treat it like Rey Mysterio putting on a new mask. You know, my problem was that to me, we were watching with people who had never watched wrestling before. The Demon was hyped up, and they were like, "That's it. That's the Demon."
Yeah,
and that's my problem. Is I just think it's had its course, and it just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Yeah,
that's true. I will agree.
It's just unfortunate, but
so right before the main event, Alexa Bliss comes out, and it's like, okay, and she says,
"I don't remember this.
I think it's time for a break," and I'm like, bitch, it's 11 o'clock.
I know.
We've been watching this since 4.
I know. I remember that.
I gotta get up at 6 in the morning. Dude, bitch, move it along.
Yeah.
It's not time for a fucking break.
What do you call the Demon's entrance? That's our break right there.
The dance break, and it was pointless bullshit. Then, the main event. Winner takes all, Raw Women's title, SmackDown Women's title. So
we were all so tired, but also hyped.
The thing is, by this point, exhausted, tired, but hyped for the match. And it was a good match. First of all,
what do you think of Charlotte's helicopter?
I thought the helicopter thing was pretty badass. It just went on a little long.
It was fun. Well, that's because Joan
on the helicopter.
No, she came in, I think they filmed it the day before, but she came in on the helicopter. It was so Joan Jett could set up her band, I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
But my only problem with it, I liked it, but then Charlotte gets out, she puts on her robe, she looks at the camera, and she does this fucking wink.
The wink!
And it was so creepy and weird. Her face just it's like she couldn't wink. Half her face was died or something. But
that was neat. What'd you think about Joan Jett playing?
That was fucking
awesome.
I'm never gonna complain about Joan Jett doing anything.
Yeah, that was badass. I love when they do live performances for Mania, and Joan Jett is a badass.
Before that was awesome. Greg Hamilton announcing.
Joan Jett, you're cool as fuck.
No, it was awesome. I had no complaints there.
I love you.
Greg Hamilton doing the intro. You could just hear the crowd not responding the way they should because they're so tired, and then the microphone cut out as and they can't fix it because it cut out everywhere in the arena, so the crowd just starts booing and laughing, and I'm like, oh, we're off to a great start here. But then it gets back on track. The entrances are really cool.
Charlotte's entrance always looks cool at WrestleMania because she does the classic
grand,
fireworks right behind her, like WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair.
Very Flair.
She'll always have an amazing WrestleMania entrance.
Ronda strutting out to Joan Jett was sick.
Yeah, Becky got her smoke back.
Becky coming out, it was just no nonsense.
Yeah, it was just no nonsense, but she got her smoke.
Here's the thing about this match. I don't have a lot to say about it. I really don't.
It was quick. It was. Not quick.
It was quick.
It was 20 minutes. I mean, it was a 20-minute match.
I know, but it didn't feel like 20 minutes.
But for a triple threat match, it was pretty short.
I'm really glad I rewatched this one because while watching it, we were saying we were just kind of exhausted and drained. That I was just kind of watching it, not wanting it to be over, but just waiting to see
how they did it. Yeah.
But now, when I rewatched it, I could kind of really enjoy all the stuff. So. Running it down, they do a lot of the spots outside, which was cool. Pretty brutal stuff. And then it starts out, the first 10 minutes is pretty fast action packed, and then it slows down because that's just how a match goes. You start out fast and furious, and then you kick it into different gears. Yeah, and they did a good job with that.
I think around that time too. Apparently, Ronda got her hand severely broken.
And I found the spot.
You did because I could not. Is it when she went over the ropes and landed?
I guarantee I saw that had to be it because she was doing.
Well, let's explain real quick for people.
She was doing an arm bar to. I don't know, maybe Charlotte.
It was Charlotte.
On the ropes. She falls down to the floor, and for one, it looks like she fucking lands right on the back of her head. Yeah. And she puts her hand out to catch herself, And it looks like that had to have been what broke her hand.
She puts her fingers down, and it looks like her hand like bends backwards like this. And so apparently she fucked her hand up really bad.
I think that was it. Also, Ronda said bitch a lot in this match.
Yeah, she was bitch.
That's kind of bitch,
which was really funny.
It's kind of like Lesnar, though.
Bitch. It was pretty funny. Bitch.
It was funny. Yeah,
Jesus,
it's like Lesnar with Suplex City, bitch.
Yeah, the crowd was just so exhausted. Like they wanted to be into it, but you could tell they almost gave all they had. And then one of my favorite spot of the match, I think, was Charlotte doing the top rope Spanish fly to Becky with badass.
That was amazing. I don't think I like that.
She just started busting that.
I was gonna say that blew my mind for sure. Like,
and then the table got out. Ronda threw it over and was like, "Tables are for bitches," which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put the table up in the corner, and the poor thing doesn't break for the spot.
Yeah, it breaks like right at the bottom.
It was a pretty weak spot as it is. I feel like they could have come up with a better table.
I think they were tired and like they tried to throw her into the table.
They need to learn that you can't throw your opponent into the table at the very bottom.
Should have done a top rope power bomb or something. Like could have been a better spot for that. And then the finish, I gotta say, it was abrupt, and I don't know if I loved it.
I didn't love it.
It was kind of
the finish.
Weird,
like when it happened, I was like, "Wait, what?" Maybe that was supposed to be the.
Here's why I didn't love it. It would have been fine because you protect you protect Ronda because she's like kind of taken by surprise by a real like pro wrestler. Mm-hmm. Here's my thing though. She got her fucking shoulder up.
Yeah, that killed the whole thing.
Yeah, when
you can't have the one thing you can do a roll up like surprise finish. Yes, it's not as satisfying and people are upset.
The main event of WrestleMania
came up like between 1 and 2, I believe. Like
I would have rather her tapped Charlotte out if they weren't going to have Ronda tap out.
That's true. Why don't you do that?
I think it was cool that she pinned Ronda. That was surprising.
Yeah.
But I just thought the match was good.
It's so when Ronda comes back,
the ending was abrupt, and for a main event of WrestleMania, I thought that was a lame ending.
Yeah,
it is a lame ending, and I agree.
But
they had, I think they had a few more minutes in that match. Like it felt like, and people were saying
it was very abrupt.
It felt like they were like rebuilding into like, okay, the finish is coming, and then it just happened, and it's like, wait, there should have been another minute or two to build to.
It's true. The thing that the Fiend saying is like having Becky as the champ, if you will. Is so like you're just like, okay, I'm happy, but it kind of put a bittersweet feel to it, whereas it could have felt just sweet if she had. I think they're gonna do it to where Ronda comes back and she can be like, you punked me. It wasn't like it was bullshit, and that's how.
But
like,
still,
why they're doing
the main event of WrestleMania.
I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing at all. I'm just saying that that's probably what they're gonna do.
But
overall,
it was a good match. It wasn't my favorite match of the night, but it was a great match. All right, so just pick one favorite match and least favorite match, if you can pick one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Chris here, I obviously, or not obviously, because everyone can have a different opinion.
You can pick more than one if you got a few.
No, I know exactly what I'm going to say. Favorite match, by far, Kofi versus Bryan. Kofi Mania was it was so exciting, it was terrifying, it was satisfying. Like, it just lived up to expectations. Crowd was behind it. It was perfect. Yeah. Least favorite, I think for me, it's tied between the women's battle royal and the Angle retirement thing, because both just were like, you could have taken those off the show and it would have been fine. The only thing is that I just don't think it's fair to all those women. It's just, it really sucks for them. Like, you got to get that SmackDown title on the main show. That's my only booking complaint. You got to get it on there, because otherwise you're just saying, champion doesn't matter, the title doesn't matter, throw it in the main event because fuck it.
Yeah,
like,
so you're saying your real only complaints with the show were like...
Asuka should have had a title match against maybe like Sonya or Mandy or somebody. I know that it was packed, but guess what? We had throwaway stuff. Just That's my take. Yeah.
My favorite match of the night, just because I'm a fan, and Seth Rollins and...
Oh, it was so awesome.
And Brock Lesnar. Yeah. I mean, it was awesome.
Short and sweet, too.
And, like, he fucking took 3 curb stomps and fucking went down, like...
And it was just, like, such a great way to start the night. Like,
and I like that it was first. It got me right into it, you know? It was pretty cool. Like, Seth won. I'm all for him winning and keeping the title.
Get Brock out of here.
Hopefully he goes on a tear with it, maybe for a little bit, I hope, you know?
Agreed.
But, and I think the women's tag comes in a close second.
Cool.
Because that was pretty.
That was exciting.
It was a really fun match. But least favorite, probably the women's battle royal.
Not their fault.
Just
the booking. It's just not
for sure.
smart. Yeah.
Definitely.
For me, my favorite would be Kofi and Bryan as well. Behind it would be basically a tie for Miz and Shane's Falls Count Anywhere match. And the SmackDown Tag Team title match. Like, they're all really close, but Kofi and Bryan was just a masterpiece. It was great. Yeah. Least favorite, I mean, not to just, agree, but the women's battle royal was just a big letdown. And Angle and Corbin, I feel like. Yeah. My only complaints, were the women's battle royal stuff, the booking there. They could have picked a better winner, like Ember Moon or something, or Asuka. The fact that the SmackDown Women's title wasn't on the card, Angle not having a real moment, and I think that this WrestleMania was amazing. But if they had a ladder match or a TLC match stipulation, I think it would have just put it even over the top.
A little more variety.
Overall, I mean, amazing show.
That's what I was going to say. My closing thought was that I think this top 30 for me, like literally.
I really need to like I said, I need to let it kind of sit for a while and be like, where does this rank? It's definitely in my top 3 WrestleManias of all time.
This one for me is definitely by far one of my favorites. Along with when Seth cashed in.
Yeah, 31. That's a really good one too.
Since I got back in and started watching, I'd say from 30 to now,
I was going to say
31 and this one is probably my 2 favorites.
Since Fiend and I got into wrestling in around 30 and 31, the stories have come full circle, which makes this 35 so good. Seth finally conquers the beat. He had his brush. Daniel Bryan now comes full circle, becoming the villain.
Went from the hero, the underdog hero.
It's just too perfect. It's like the perfect. I could stop watching. I'm not going to, but I'm just saying that felt like the end of so many things and the start of so many new things. It was really incredible.
Now it's now we can do so many new things. It's
It's exciting to see what is going to happen now.
Well, everybody, that was our WrestleMania 35 extravaganza, almost as long as the main show itself. Right. But I mean, that was a fucking doozy of a mania. So
yeah, I mean, how cool was that?
Well, not cool at all anymore. Yeah. So thanks for our maiden voyage here on the Swirlpool. We're gonna be swirling through all sorts of different things. Okay. So
I'm down for this swirl.
Yeah, we're gonna swirl hard.
It won't always be wrestling.
No. So I wanted to say this was kind of we just knew this was a good jumping on point. We all love wrestling.
We're all wrestling fans. It just made sense.
Next time it's going to be something else.
Something different.
Maybe
we don't know
music,
what yet.
Maybe a movie. Right. Maybe a TV show. Maybe an anime. And we'll probably have some guests and stuff. Yeah. But please find us on YouTube. We're The Vortex. And the URL is youtube.com/grim2ns chorizo. Please subscribe. We're playing games on there. We're doing all sorts of weird shit. If you want to also check out our Discord, there's a link on our YouTube channel.
It's down there somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It's in the description.
We put it in the description of all the videos. I think if you go to the banner or whatever of our channel, it should have a little thing that says join us on Discord. I think you click that and it can take you right to it.
Yeah, so but we want to have discussions about the
anything and everything, kind of like what
and the episodes, if you want to request topics for us to do, because we're going to be picking stuff for each other, but I'd love to, and send any correspondence. If you send an email to grimchorizo@gmail.com, we will answer your questions. We'll do Q&A stuff.
There you go.
And if you want to find me, Chris, at anywhere, I'm Zompire Wolf on everything online.
We've got an Instagram as well at Enjoy the Vortex on Instagram. You can follow myself, Grim Chorizo, on Instagram as Grim Chorizo. You can also follow me on Twitter at Grim Chorizo. I don't really do Twitter, but you can follow me on there if you want. But
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to Swirlpool. We'll be back. Swirl you later.
Keep on swirling.
No.
That's now our catchphrase.